back from our break. We thank you very much for joining us. We have some interesting information for you here, including. Should we give away another code after our little messages here?
Yeah, let's do that. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the benefactor that's going to be the things that you can win. That's going to be MythLogic. They are the primary sponsor of this league. They are a custom laptop gaming rig designer, so you can check them out if you're in the market for a new laptop. If you want something powerful that's something unique to you, you can check them out, and they will be able to provide you with anything that you can dream up. They're really cool guys. You can find them at mythlogic.com. You can also find them on Twitter at mythlogic. If you would like to enter our little giveaway here, our second code is going to be MythLogic.
Whoa!
all lowercase. I'm going to type that into chat. And
don't get any ideas, folks. We're going to be using these same codes again.
No. And it looks like... Actually, I should probably specify that is the code.
Yeah, and there was a little issue there where entering the second code is there, the free code that's in the Reddit thread. The first code we gave away, and this code now, there was an issue entering multiple codes, but now that's been fixed, so you can happily enter all the codes. But we won't be giving away the first ones again. You have to tune in for the codes.
That's right. At any rate, if you're wondering who you're watching right now, it's SC2CTL, and I am Gallegation, joined as always as my beautiful partner, Mr. WingNetSC. How are you this evening?
I'm doing just fine. These games are getting me excited as we go into a potential ace match here, and we've got yet more interesting players for you as I control my keys to do the things that I want here. Going into game number 5, it is going to be Crossguard versus Byrada. I think that's how you pronounce it. Crossguard, representing team WeWannaWin clan, his full name is Lucas Slaby. I'm going to go with that. 17 years old, from the Czech Republic. He is a high school student, and he is the last addition to the WeWannaWin clan team as of late 2013. And his opponent is going to be Byrada. He is a Venezuelan Zerg player and has played since Brood War. He is friends with Thunder. They live in the same city and are practice partners. Some of his achievements include he placed second at the Liga Exodo finales. I'm going to say the Exodo League finale in the English words. Which is a major Mexican tournament. He placed 12th in the Copa America Seasons 1 through 3, which is absolutely no small achievement at all. And these players will be duking it out here in game number 5, which is a potential ace match for Crossfire Gaming, now up 3-1.
So a lot of pressure on Crossguard this evening.
No pressure at all. It's you have to take each match as it goes, but yes, as you do get into that, you're that player that's luckily thrown out in the match that could potentially win it all or lose it all. It is a bit of pressure, but going into it here on Merry-Go-Round LE on the bottom side of the map, wearing the teal plating in this game, representing WeWannaWin clan, it is Crossguard.
And in the roughly 3-2-30 position, top right of the map, it is Crossfire Gaming's Byrada, looking to secure the victory for his team.
First PvZ of the day, and interesting note about this map, it is a 3-person map, and there is a potential spawn location here, a spawn location here, and spawn location here. So when you send out your early scouts, it is not guaranteed you will find your opponent, but Byrada does have the right idea, sending his Overlord down to the 6 o'clock position. It's like doing a bit of a gastric here too, wanting that extra drone. So yeah, a little bit of you know, we've seen where the scouting does play a bit of a factor on this map, where both players will send their workers to that third unoccupied location and really delay the scouting.
Absolutely, and Byrada is hedging his bets as to where his opponent may be, sending that second Overlord to the left position to see if he spots him there. If his first is unsuccessful, but it will ultimately be unnecessary, as he's going to be able to find that guy right away.
Curious to see what Crossguard has in his head here, and what he's planning, because that was a little bit of a late gateway going down at 14. Maybe it was just, you know, a function of not being used to this map. Not exactly sure though, but alas, a little bit late gateway and gas coming down after that. So we'll see what he does come out with. Expansion going down for Bayrata right away at his natural. So it will be a 16 hatch without a pool. So going to be going into a bit of macro for our Zerg buddy here, while Crossguard also puts down a pylon at his natural expansion.
That's right. His pool is now going down, so he's not going to be defenseless for too long. Gas going down immediately following it, so he's going to be able to get that tech as well. Could be going roaches here, but also could be getting that speed. Hard to tell at this point. Cybernetics core also going down at the top, so it looks like he's going to be... I mean, this building placement here almost seems like he's trying to set up a top of the ramp choke point.
Yeah, it definitely is doing that, but also that pylon down at the bottom makes you think that it may have his eye on that expansion there. But I mean, just given on the way that the Overlord did come into Crossguard's base, he can certainly make some assumptions as to the position of his opponent without even scouting. But also, without scouting, he does not know what's going on at all whatsoever. So has to play actually fairly defensive here, and I think that's why he has this positioning of his buildings, just so he can wall that off with a pylon if some crazy attack push was to come. Well, it's also maybe why that pylon is there, just for some spotting ability. But Nexus does go down now, as the time has passed for any 6 pools, 8 pools, or any other crazy aggression like that. Speed coming down for Bayrata, as he does have his expansion up and operational. Queen's about to pop out at both locations, and now moving into the main phase of the game here.
That's right. Sentries are the choice in terms of defense here for Crossguard. One already out, one on the way. And in the meantime, continuing to get those probes and get that mothership core.
Looks like we have a evolution chamber here coming down for Bayrata. So if it is going to be roaches, it's definitely going to be later roaches. Looks like he's going to want to put some effort into a bit of a Zergling push here at some point. But be interesting to see what he can actually get done with that. Looks like also an expansion coming down at the 12 o'clock position at some point as soon as he gets 300 minerals here.
It looks like he's got the evolution chamber, so it's going to be some early upgrades here, and it's likely going to be for ground. I'd imagine that he's going to be getting his melee attack.
That's what I was thinking. There it is. Yep. So looks like going to be a bit of a Zergling push here, but I mean, Crossguard is pretty well defended here. So, and it's not just with pylon. So even it would take quite a few banelings to get any kind of bust going through this wall here, especially with those sentries. So I'm not sure this is going to get a whole lot done. What do you think, Allegation?
Oh no, I agree. I think that it's going to be tough unless those sentries just are ineffectual. You know, they put down really bad force fields or get surrounded somehow by Zerglings because of bad control. But everything going as expected, Crossguard should be able to hold this off without too much problem.
I mean, he could just have in his mind that he wants to just kind of use these lings to get some map presence, keep moving around the map, because you know, Crossguard is going to be kind of locked in his base here. Zerg being Zerg can put on quite a bit of pressure at this point. No proxy pylons or anything to get any early warp-ins off of this, off of these gateways here, but there are going to be roaches here on the way fairly shortly, as the Roach Warren has just finished, but more Zerglings being produced as well. 16 in production as we speak.
That's right, and Lings are hitting the front now. Force field does go down as the shields of the first sentry do get taken, and these Lings are just streaming right by this pylon. I mean, they've got it's in his vision. He knows it's there.
Absolutely. Overlord does get taken out in the base of Crossguard. Still no warp-ins over on the other side of the map. I think Crossguard, knowing that he needs to keep his forces at home, as this group of Zerglings out here is a bit threatening. Large number of sentries here and an immortal, so he's going to be fairly well defended as long as he doesn't get too out of position. Still haven't seen any roaches though. I mean, that +1 melee attack is about to finish. Crossguard chrono boosting all the gateways to get these warp-ins out. He wants to squash this as fast as he can. +1 armor coming out as well.
Yep, but that melee attack is about to wrap up, and with that he's going to start, it looks like, gearing up for his attack.
Wow, this is a lot of Zerglings here.
It really is, and
oh no, my gosh!
Out of position.
I actually think that he should have actually went for that a little bit more. He almost had a good surround on all those sentries there, and it would have taken a lot of energy in that position to force field them out. But he's just going to go ahead and move across the map. This is a pretty scary position with only an Immortal holding down the fort at home. But now he's going to get a bit cornered on this wall. No force fields yet. Looks like Byrata trying to bait the force fields out of Crossguard. Not able to get it done. Warpins now happening at this proxy pylon, which is very convenient for him now as the fight is being taken to him.
Absolutely, but Roaches have joined the fray here, and they, while don't have any upgrades, are going to be pretty useful against those Zealots. And now we see the engagement for real. The Ziggerglings are able to get in, but pretty decent force fields there holding everything out. Roaches trying to get what damage done that they can, and it looks like Byrata is doing some decent damage, but it is not going to be enough.
Now those Roaches starting to fall really fast. That Immortal doing some pretty insane damage. It looks like 12 kills for that Immortal.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Roach numbers are growing here. More Zerglings being produced, but I mean, now smartly moving down, taking out this pylon. That was essentially what turned that fight, given that the defender's advantage was completely nullified with that pylon there. But now Crossguard is stuck a bit out in the middle of the map, and this Overlord here does see him pulling back. So Byrata is going to know exactly what's happening, and he's hot on his tail here.
And unfortunately, that previous attack did hit before the defensive upgrade had finished, but now it is done, and it looks like Byrata is trying to smell blood. He was able to deny that Nexus that was about to be placed, and is moving down with full force, but there are two Immortals here now, so he's going to have to be real careful with these Roaches.
Yeah, those Immortals will single-handedly destroy this Roach army with all of those force fields if he is not careful, but looks like Byrata going to end up moving up the ramp. All the Roaches get stuck in that time warp, and pretty good force fields go down to make all the Roaches walk through it even more, but still trying to encroach up, not getting any damage on those Immortals. Immortals doing so much hurting on the Roaches.
Yeah, and those Immortals continuing to just have a field day with the Roaches. Byrata, realizing he's not getting anything done, decides to move on home.
Yeah, pretty smart on his part. He's got Lair finished up here, getting his +2/+2. Actually like what he's got going on here with the melee. If he can get it off, I mean, he's trying to deny the bases of Crossguard, but he's really not keeping an eye in the right spot now as the expansion is going out to the right. Looks like he was expecting it on the left side there, but Colossus coming out, and Colossus range as well from Crossguard, so Byrata's got to get something done here really quick, man.
Yeah, Byrata's really been focusing on just that single push. He does have a lair out, but doesn't really have a whole lot of lair tech. Does have 1/1 coming down, but only on those Lings, and Lings are not going to be super effective with these Colossus coming out. He really needs some new tech.
Yeah, it definitely is looking like Crossguard is in control of this game, because the lockdown that Byrata wanted to put on Crossguard is not working out. And now Crossguard is getting equalized on number of bases here as well. I mean, I think what Byrata wanted to do is lock him down and then continue expanding across the map, but now 3 bases to 3 bases is not where he wants to be, and the tech is not in his favor. As soon as this Colossus range finishes up, this army is not going to be very strong in comparison to that of Crossguard.
Not at all. Lings are trying to move forward and are able to catch a Colossus kind of out of position, but it does get right back into position, and they smartly run away. There's just really no attack path here for Byrata, and in the meantime, the forces of Crossguard are encroaching into creep territory, so they are going to continue their push.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty scary push from Crossguards. Looking at these sentries, there's a lot of energy here and a lot of force fields. And with 2 Immortals, 1 Colossus, all these Stalkers and Zealots, if they can get in there, I mean, now he's up the ramp, and the entire army of Byrata is outside. He can easily wall this off, as he does. So reinforcements going across the map will be stifled, and he's just going to continue pushing in. Infestation Pit going down. Colossus getting a little out ahead there, taking out the drones as well as the Zealots.
It doesn't really matter here. Byrata realizes that his only real alternative here is to try and force a base trade, but even then, he's just not going to be able to do the same amount of damage that his opponent is. The opponent now in the main base and targeting just about everything, trying to take things down very quickly. The third base is now cleaned up by Byrata, but he's pulling back now.
Yeah, and that Spire does just pop out. Doesn't actually get anything out of it. 9 roaches in production, but those 9 roaches are going to be stifled here pretty quickly. Now, Crossguard needs to pay attention as he can wall off this ramp quite easily. There he does. Gets that down. These roaches are not going to be able to get up to do anything. His entire main base is going to be gone.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of option here. And, I mean, Crossguard was just free to do that, as he could do his recall at any time. That Mothership Core has full energy. And Byrata just was not, really hasn't cleaned up those warp-in pylons. However, it didn't really sway the tide of battle this time.
Yeah, so I think this is one of those games at this point that Byrata doesn't really have a way out of this, as even in a base raid scenario, the army of Crossguard is looking pretty darn strong, even though he does have 2-2 upgrades, but I mean, just the unit composition is really hard to deal with just lings and roaches.
Well, especially because he can't make either at the moment. Well, I guess he can make roaches still, but his his spawning pool has been destroyed. It is currently being rebuilt, so he's back into the Stone Age, essentially, for this game.
Yeah, a couple of, looks like Hallucinated Phoenix coming out to see the position of Byrata's army. He is supply blocked as well, so even once he does get this up, he can't produce drones. He has to produce some Overlords 7 in production right now, as... Oh, looks like Byrata wanted to come in here and see what he can get done. Oh, nice force fields going down, splitting that army up into 3 distinct chunks.
And while Byrata is able to get a little bit of a surround, it's not going to be enough, as the majority of his force is completely stalemated outside. And there's the recall. Crossguard feeling very secure in this game.
Yeah, and that was pretty smart to recall there. I mean, he would have... as we say a lot, he has a clear advantage now, so now the best thing to do is just to make sure he presses that advantage rather than to squander it. And that angle wasn't the best for him once the force fields went away, as those roaches do quite a bit of damage, and the Zerglings have pretty superior upgrades. But now going to be moving on out. There are still quite a lot of force fields left here, but doesn't really catch anything there. The energy's starting to go down a bit on those sentries.
But Crossguard continuing to go forward, blaming the lag, GG. And there's the GG.
So, I mean, that was, I feel like Byrata just kind of got a little stale halfway through. I mean, he had the idea of wanting to get that ground Zergling push done, and, Crossguard defended himself very well, and there's just no chance that was going to get in there. And, he added the roaches, but still, I mean, at that point, it's just... not a whole lot he can get done at that point with that.
Yeah, he really rode the Zergling Roach tech a little bit too far in that game. He kind of needed to tech up around the same time that his opponent was getting Colossus. He needed to get some other option out there, whether it be Infestors, whether it be Swarm Hosts, or whatever you would decide to do. He was getting the Infestation Pit and the Spire at the same time. It seemed almost as though he was trying to get to the Hive so that he could put down his Ultralisk Den, but realized that was going to take too long, puts down the Spire, but that was too late as well, so wasn't really able to come up with a good defense there, a good tech option to keep him in that game.
Yeah, I feel like he was also really expecting Crossguard to expand at that third base sort of to the left of his main and natural, and he didn't. I mean, it feels like he kind of snuck in the third base over to the right. Just because you never really saw it until it was too late, and by that point, Crossguard was moving out. So, I mean, he could have taken advantage of that by sort of preventing that third base and then expanding his own self, but it seems like it just got kind of stuck in there a little bit. But alas, that does sort of bring this series to a bit of a continuation here, as the score is now 3-2 in favor of Crossfire Gaming still. So WeWannaWin clan doing exactly what they need to, winning a game to bring the game back to a score that is a bit more manageable than that 3-1. So still ace match for Crossfire Gaming, as we are going to be heading on into game number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Gallegation.
Yeah, we've got some bios here.
Actually, I take that back. Let's take a 30-second break here real quick before we head on into that. And head on into that game number 6. So hang with us for just a brief break.